One day this week, my 11-year-old and I snuck out after school and work and went to a little town fair at the invitation of some friends. For about 2 hours, the kids ran from one brightly lit attraction to the next, laughing and joking, egging each other on, screaming and hollering as their tightly strapped in bodies dropped from terrifying heights or were pressed flat against walls from the sheer force of their speed. It was my job to cover my eyes and hold the cotton candy while lamenting with another mom about how big our kids are getting. That's what summer days are made for. And I don't let any of it pass me by without an acknowledgement of how grateful I am for evenings like that one. Gratitude is the spiritual practice that can shift me back into my right size and my right life. It is countercultural in a world that tells us we need more, that what we have and who we are isn't enough. And it's a shared language that supersedes all the things that serve to divide us. It's our common ground, and I'm happy to stand on it with everyone around me. I've added Gratitude Sunday to our liturgical calendar. It's my intention to spend the first Sunday in June every year asking all of us to consider those things for which we're grateful. This is not an attempt to deny grief or downplay suffering. We are always called into living a both and, and we can hold two truths, even if they appear to contradict themselves. When my grandmother lay dying, she and I laughed a lot. It's something we had in common. We laugh easily and often, and when we were together, laughter was a frequent sound. Laughter didn't mean we weren't terribly sad or wishing the world was different or that we weren't facing what was real. It meant that we could exist in our grief and still find joy. I've said it many times that if the work for justice isn't sourced by joy, the world we dream about will never be made manifest. So today is Gratitude Sunday, one of maybe 2 days of the year we set aside to simply notice the things that bring us joy. The other day is the Sunday before Thanksgiving. Gratitude Sunday is strategically located right before the congregational meeting. We don't really have an annual meeting because we meet quarterly, but this June meeting serves in that capacity because we approve the budget for the new year and set ourselves on course for whatever will come next in our shared life. So today is a good day to stretch our gratitude muscle. As the official church year begins to come to a close, with next week's flower communion and new member Sunday serving as the punctuation mark to transition us into summer, taking stock of the year, difficult and challenging as it's been, is our way to remember that we are together in faith, in love, in covenant with one another. We do not have to experience the waves and shifts of our daily lives alone. Community, living in our shared faith, working together to embody hope, serving a common mission, creating meaning with and for each other are critical parts of my life for which I'm grateful. Our faith serves as a tether for me, keeping me grounded, creating parameters for love and inclusion. And I know I'm not alone in that. I've been witness to this in this year and in last year and in other years in other churches. UUs have a beautiful way of pouring ourselves out in service of each other. So much of what happens at community church, and really at every church, is unseen by most members. The daily business of the church is in the hands of the board, the council, the staff, and the ministry teams. There are countless emails, phone calls, texts, shared workdays, emergencies that range from pastoral to hot water heaters that fill our days and go largely unnoticed. And they will today too. It seems appropriate for me to name some of these things and some of these people, but the truth is there's just no way for me to name them all, which is sure to lead to someone feeling unseen or unappreciated, which is the exact opposite of what I want to do. So instead, I'd like to simply acknowledge that I have worked in many places, have been part of many teams, and the people here, both professional and volunteer, are some of the finest I've ever seen. I am grateful every morning when I know I'm sharing this ministry with people who are competent and courageous and committed to the mission of this church. These are people with a vision and a holy impatience. But they're also people who are self differentiated, which isn't easy to find in church structures. They are a constant source of my gratitude. Gratitude serves as a perfect foil in a world that insists on the purchasing of new things as the cure for what ails us. First, we're told there's a problem. Our teeth are too dull. We smell bad. Our hair should be cleaner, flatter, curlier. Our baking pans are too thin or small or otherwise inappropriately sized, just like our bodies, which, almost regardless of how they look, need to be different. Next, we're told there's a product to fix it. We could have more of this or less of that if only we spend the money on whatever that thing is, and then everything will be okay and we can finally be happy. Gratitude counters all of that with the simple practice of noticing and appreciating. Instead of living in anxiety and low self esteem, we have the option to live in joy and some semblance of tranquility. Just look up. For a moment, turn your eyes from the screen and look at something or someone else. What do you see? A paint color? Maybe one that brings you some peace? A picture that moves you? The branch of a tree in front of a window? Look around. Is there a person you've committed your life to? A chair that feels like home? My laptop is resting on an old kitchen table. I found this table at a flea market years ago. I think it cost me 25 bucks. It has this gorgeous, beautiful dark walnut top and tapered legs that I painted black. It's rustic and worn and not something I think about all that often, but I rely on it daily, especially now that I work in this home office so much. My walls, you can see behind me a little bit. Those are bookcases. The other walls are lined with shelves, and they're heavy with books. And I organize my books according to section. So I have like the eschatology section and systematics. I've got scripture. I have ecclesiology. Right next to me here is the liberation theology. My very favorites are the medieval mystics over there. And I've got piles of novels written by womanist authors and compilations of favorite poets like Rita Dove and Nikki Giovanni and Audre Lorde. And all of this brings me comfort. And I'm grateful for all of it. I'm hoping that you too are surrounded by things that you are grateful for. Gratitude is mood altering. Again, this isn't about the denial of suffering or what I call toxic positivity. I'm not suggesting we neglect what's real, but making the choice to shift out of our existential pain and into a new frame is often how we gather strength for the long journey before us. Gratitude can become the foundation of a life sourced by joy. And it happens without having to do much of anything. Right? It's a change of mind. It's a noticing, seeing, smelling, hearing, what exists right now in this moment. I did a little crowdsourcing last night to find out what people are grateful for. In addition to the many people who said they're grateful for friends and family, here's some of what I heard: a good night's sleep, strawberries, air conditioning, cats, community to do justice work with, the red-crowned woodpecker outside my window, friends willing to call me on my BS, neighbors who are compassionate, who fight for each other, chocolate, good colleagues, clean, easily accessed water, cicadas, fox cubs, that I can be with family as my brother-in-law is dying, breezes, lemonade, the crows in my yard, vaccines, sitcoms, tomatoes with basil, sobriety, stillness, silliness, jazz, the extravagance of peonies, Aretha Franklin, the love, strength, and perseverance of my ancestors, glaciers, poets, reading aloud to my children, warm winter nights. I'm sorry, I said winter. Shows you where I am. I'm a little chilly with the fan. It's warm summer nights. Now, I really would love for all of you to put things in the chat. What are you grateful for? Try looking beyond the obvious. We are, of course, so grateful for our families, for our homes, for our jobs, for our close friends, but what else is there? There are so many things. Maybe the feeling of putting your hands in soil, or the color of sunlight, the sound of a cat purring. I think we'd all love to see your list. So start now. Feel free to continue into the song that's going to follow this sermon. In a culture that tells us we always need more, gratitude is a source of resistance. In moments when we feel depleted, gratitude is a touchstone with abundance. During times of societal upheaval, gratitude keeps us grounded. On days when we're angry with each other, gratitude reminds us to center ourselves in love. Gratitude is a spiritual path, and I'm grateful to be walking it with all of you.